Right, this is a review this time of a Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure I haven't done a review of it. I've done I've done reviews of magazines, DVDs, VHS video, but this is a Blu-ray called the Blob. Steve McQueen in the Blob. I haven't written out a script for this, so when I don't write out a script for my reviews, I tend to stutter quite a bit because. I'll start off by reading the back of it. A cult classic of gooey greatness, directed by Irvin S. Yeworth, Dinosaurus. The Blob follows a havoc wreaked on a small town by an alien creature with neither soul nor vertebrae, with Steve McQueen, the Great Escape, in his first major feature role, playing the young rebel teenager who tries to warn the townfolk about the jelly-like invader. Superb performances and striking special effects help the Blob transcend the schlock sci-fi new delinquency genres from which it originates, made outside of Hollywood by a maverick film distributor, Jack H. Harris and a crew, whose credits mostly comprise religious and educational shorts. The Blob helped launch the careers of Steve McQueen and composer Burt Bacharach, whose bouncy title song is just one of this film's many unexpected pleasures. Enjoy this cult classic for the first time with an all-new 4K digital restoration. Special features: behind the scenes gallery, black and white gallery, lobby card gallery, original poster gallery, original set prop gallery, original trailer. As you can see, it's got a 12 rating. Nobody under the age of 12 will be able to buy or rent this. Actually, it was first released in 1958, and at that time it was X-rated. In Britain, that would mean that nobody under the age of 16 would have been admitted to it. But they wouldn't have stopped kids from seeing it in America because they didn't have a rating for system for films in America in the 50s. So, kids would have been able to see it. In 1958, there were only 3 certificates for films. There were U, which is universal, anyone could get in. A, which meant if you were under 16, you had to be accompanied by your parent, which stood for adult, which meant if you're under 16, you had to be accompanied by your parents. And X, which meant that nobody under 16 would be admitted to a film. So they must have felt that this film at the time, this film wasn't suitable for A classification, which would have meant that parents would have been able to take the children to see it. It's so they prohibited anyone under 16 from seeing it, but as time went on, more ratings got introduced, and I've already done a discussion about why old X films have a lower rating today. This film, even though it was considered worthy of an X rating in 1958, it's very tame by today's standards. There's nothing gory. The only thing slightly gory in it is when this farmer gets this blob stuck on his hand, and it sort of and he's in hospital, and it starts to grow. It's like a nasty fungus thing. It's an alien creature. It grows on you literally. But apart from that, there's nothing. By standards of 1958, it would have been considered too gruesome for you to take your kids in to see it. But as time went on, they introduced new certificates. After 1970, you had to be 18 to see X films. So when they raised the age from 16 to 18, they needed another certificate, which was to bridge the gap between the A and the X, and that was the double A. But I'll do another discussion called the evolution of the 12 rating. How the 12 rating actually came about. It's not I think you can see there on his arm that's nasty gooey thing attaching itself to this farmer's arm. And he goes into hospital, and it literally grows on him, and engulfs the rest of his body, and then it absorbs the rest of his body, and then it absorbs the doctor who's trying to think of ways to get rid of it, and when this Steve McQueen tries to go to the police to alert them that this doctor's dead, and he says they think he's pulling the leg, as it were, when he says a monster is involved. This doctor's been killed by a monster. They think he's you'd have to be mad to believe, crazy to believe that, because people were very sceptical about this sort of thing, these sorts of things in the 1950s, weren't they? They didn't believe in, you know what I mean? They thought all stories of UFOs and flying saucers and life on other planets were just a load of old baloney. We're not so sceptical about these things now. I've done a discussion on time travel, haven't I? And you know what I mean? Will it ever be invented? You know, we never know, because at this period in time, I don't think we understand everything. There's the front cover of it there. Anyway, if you like a bit of a vintage science fiction, it's not exactly a sci-fi horror film, but it's not exactly a horror film by it would have been. I think it could have been regarded as a horror film in the 50s, but not by today's standards. It's not horror. It's not horrific, really. But anyway, if you've got a Blu-ray player and you're into a bit of vintage sci-fi, this is a film for you. Anyway, I'll be back with more reviews and discussions later.